What it do, what it is, it's the kid, it's Progress J, aka the micro content strategist. We got the homie Trigga Tray Drums in the building.
What's good? What's good? What's good, man? I go by Trigga Tray. I'm a percussionist from South Florida, the creator of the Drum Cipher, which is a platform where artists can come on, do their thing while I play a hand drum. And yeah, man, that's what I do. I'm a percussionist, I'm a musician, a music lover, all that. For sure, man. Glad to be here.
Dope, dope, dope. So first of all, tell me how you got involved into the passion of just the art of learning how to be a drummer.
So drumming started for me around high school. So I wasn't really doing anything extracurricular. Starting around sophomore year, I was like, it's time to get something going. So my good friend Chris was showing me the drum line and stuff, showing me the band because he was already inside of it. I thought it was pretty cool. I remember, watching the movie Drumline. I was like, this is something I could do. So went to their practice, loved it. Ended up being on the squad. Started practicing, to get to play on the snare because I started off on bass, and then I became captain, and then just kept it pushing. So that's where it started for me. That's where I kind of got the discipline to learn how to drum and actually sit down and master a craft. And then I started playing at FAU for 3 years. And after that, I just started doing my own thing, performing, creating the drum cipher, and just doing my own thing when it comes to music.
You talked about discipline. How important is discipline been for you in your life?
Discipline has been a very important part of my life because I feel that if you don't have discipline towards something, you're not really going to be consistent with it. And without consistency, you're not going to see the optimal results. Not saying you're not going to see any results, but you're not going to see the optimal results. What I mean by that is that there's a concept of doing your 10,000 hours. I feel like I'm in that mode of doing my 10,000 hours of being a musician, being in the musical scene, where I'm constantly creating things and spending time to create things and just trying to make myself better every day by doing that.
Totally agree. I totally agree. I love that concept. I definitely do. I think that it's so unique to have a craft that, not a lot of people do, but you take it, you mold it, and you make it your own. Talk about how branding has played a part in developing your craft as a drummer.
Branding is very important for being a drummer because, like you said, not a lot of people pretty much do the art of drumming as far as in the musical realm. So, and one thing I did have when I observed instrumentalists in the music industry, I always noticed that they're always in the background, and that's one thing I didn't want myself to fall into. I didn't want to be like a background person. I want to be just as important or just as seen or just as notable or something to offer as the vocal artist. You know what I'm saying? So I want to create a brand for myself so that when people see me doing what I do, they automatically can associate my name to that. And I do that by, making sure I had a logo created, with Trigga Tray. Shout out to my guy Halston, he got that for me. And then even outside of the visual branding, just making sure that me myself exude that confidence and people know what I do when they see me, and just being relevant and being in the community.
I wanted to ask you, how do you use your drums to paint a picture?
That's a great question. So earlier, I feel like I was just kind of picking random songs. Like early when I started drumming, I feel like I was picking random songs that I just liked and, just drumming to them. But I wanted to make sure not only am I doing that, but I'm kind of doing things intentionally. So like you even said with the Pop Smoke tribute, I did that very intentionally because I know he was a great artist and he was just up and coming, and he literally was scratching the surface to be that premier artist, and unfortunately his life got taken so soon. So I wanted to make sure I did a tribute to kind of highlight that. There was a video I did back in June, and it was to Kendrick Lamar's "All Right," but I've always wanted to do that song, but I wanted to make sure it was in the right context. And with everything that's going on right now, and to support the Black Lives Matter movement, I made a video that was to that song, but had some BLM symbolism in it. So I want to make sure that my videos aren't just random. Everything's done intentionally with purpose, and that's how I want to make sure that my drumming speaks on different things than just music itself.
How has that movement been down there in Florida, given the recent spike of COVID cases?
So yeah, the recent spike of COVID cases, when things just talking about COVID in general, I recognize as creators that kind of set a lot of people back, but it really kind of showed who was going to stay disciplined despite being at odds, because everyone was kind of going through the same struggle at the same time. You know, you're kind of forced into your home, you know, barred away from human contact, you know, besides what you see behind your screen. So it's like, you know, I had to kind of take that moment and figure out, you know, how am I going to continue doing what I do and make sure I'm still effective, still make sure I'm disciplined, still make sure I'm putting my 10,000 hours in. So, you know, I had like 2 or 3 flights planned around the time between March to like May, and I had to cancel all those flights. And I had connections in different cities that I will be, you know, definitely picking up, but I had to adapt. So I made this series called Quarantine Cypher, which is kind of set up in a FaceTime style, but kind of the same concept of me drumming, the artists doing their thing. And so far I've gotten like maybe 9 or 10 of those videos made, and you can see more of those on the way. So I think that was a pretty good moment for me because I was able to adapt to the situation and still, you know, despite coronavirus, was able to do my thing still.
Definitely, man. I think that that's a great perspective, and that's kind of why we and my team wanted to have you on this. And I think that a lot of people are gravitating towards that. Talk about how you're going to use some of this momentum that you gathered through this time of chaos and uncertainty to uplift and build your brand through the fall and into 2021.
Right. So the major project I'm working on right now is getting back into, you know, hitting different cities. I mean, definitely following procedure as far as being safe during these times, because it's not like, you know, the virus went away. So I definitely have to keep that in mind. But I do want to make sure I do hit different areas so that people can share the same experience and I can, you know, see what different areas look like. I'm also picking up on different ways I can innovate and collaborate. So I don't want to just do this I mean, I always want to do what I'm doing right now, but I also want to kind of add different things onto it. So I'm looking into audio engineering as far as beat production and all that type of stuff, and working with that, you know, chipping away at that little by little. And then, you know, once I feel confident enough to put that out there, that'll be another form of way I can collaborate with people as well.
I like how you're elevating the craft each and every day. Talk about how important it is to be consistent at something that is a rare commodity. You don't see too many drummers like yourself creating a cipher and basically collaborating with dope artists to bring that sound that's so awesome.
I would say if you know you have a gift and you know you have a unique gift, you got to use it. You got to do what you can to make sure that people see that and that you're using it. Because I mean, if you have this talent and you're not using it, you're not really doing yourself a favor, and you're not doing anyone else a favor, because you could be using your talents to uplift someone. So I always tell people and content creators, if you feel like, you know, you have a good idea, you feel like you have something that is unique that you can't really get an experience anyone else, make sure that you exemplify that everywhere you go and push that to the masses.
You know, as we move forward, the whole realm of entrepreneurship is going to grow, and there's going to be a need for people to basically showcase how they're maneuvering and how they're pivoting, but also elevating their brand. What is some like advice that you would give up and coming drummer that you know is basically following in your steps or admires what you do?
I would say networking is key. I will definitely push that on them, because there's so many talented people doing things that's similar or even unlike what you're doing that can complement what you're doing in so many different ways. And I would also definitely preach consistency, making sure that you're putting your 10,000 hours in. And that may seem like a big number, but really just kind of break it down to what can you do today to get better.
And so many people overlook the little things in life that allow them to get to the big picture. And that's amazing that you kind of pointed out some of those. And you talked about practice. And I know, you know, for some people, they say practice make perfect. And I think that's a big, big component in life. So what are some of the songs that you love to practice?
Like in my free time is lo-fi hip hop. So I'll literally, like on YouTube, you can find like a YouTube live version of lo-fi hip hop, and they can just plays continuously. And like, that's the frequency I love like drumming to, because it's like low, mellow, laid back. So it gives me like opportunity to shine through the drum. It's not like too much going on in it, and I can just kind of like hammer away at it. And yeah, I'm definitely going to probably make some videos with that. But I'd say that's definitely the type of music I practice to, or even just like memorable instrumentals that just come to my head. I'm like, oh man, that would be dope.
I think that's a testament to, you know, the creativity and innovation that, you know, we as Black men can put in our craft if we, you know, dedicate our mind to it. Talk about, you know, the process and it goes into making a custom made, you know, song that you come up with, given the different notes that you've learned in school, or, you know, as a person that's a drummer on the in the band.
Oh, yeah. So I think I take literally all the rudimental drumming that I learned on the drum line, from snaring, like, paradiddles, diddles, flams, and I apply those rudiments onto this drum as well, because I feel like it's all transferable. Like the rudiments in the percussion world, for those who don't know what I mean, rudiments are literally just like building blocks of skill set with drumming. So it's like just a pattern. So this will be a paradiddle, 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 and like you use stuff like that to just build up on each other and use it in different creative ways. And I found a way to make that work with this instrument. I play a little drum set as well, so I make it work with that as well. So that's pretty much how I incorporate like rudiments into my drumming.
That's dope, man. You've been able to kind of conquer this field of basically drumming, and then kind of captivate the world. What are some goals and aspirations that you have for the rest of 2020 with the drumming that you do?
So for sure, I think I quantify my goals based on usually how many artists I've worked with within the year. So as of today, I've worked with over 120 artists with the drum cipher. So I would like to finish off the year at least definitely at 150, which is, I feel like, is a very attainable goal, and I feel like I'm definitely going to surpass that goal. So I would say that I want to make sure I'm hitting the different cities I want to hit, and I want to make sure that if there's any songs that I had in mind that I wanted to work with, I'd get those out the way. And I also just want to work with different type of talent. I don't want to just marginalize myself to just vocal artists. I mean, I want to work with tap dancers, violinists, any type of musician or dancer, or any type of art, any type of visual art. I'm down with it.
I wanted to ask you, is drumming and the brand that you have right now, is that your only occupation, or do you do something outside of drumming?
Oh yeah, so honestly, in my day-to-day life, I'm really into information technology. That's why I work in right now. I work in the field of information technology. So that's something that I'm also pursuing. That's why I actually studied in college. I graduated with my bachelor's in management information systems, and then immediately following that, I graduated a year later with my master's in information technology and management. So, outside of my artistry, technology is a pretty big thing that I do. And recently I've been studying for certifications to kind of take me on the next level there. But music is always where my passion lies. So, if I can find some way to live completely off the music, I don't think I would be, working 9 to 5 in technology anymore. But, it's just, it's a building process.
That's amazing, man. That's amazing. I like the idea that you studied something that you could actually apply within the music and the drumming that you do.
Because it's not just limited to these two drums that you see me playing with, but it's like I also have, a djembe. There's different type of percussion instruments that you play with. So as well as me learning, I also want to transfer knowledge to the youth as well.
That's amazing, man. That's amazing. It's always good to give back, and it's also great to see so many entrepreneurs want to give back and then also want to be a part of that change. So that is amazing. Outside of drumming, is there anything that you love to do, particularly that gets your mind off of that grind, but then takes you right back to that? Okay, this is where I have to go, and this is where I need to stay to elevate my grind.
Outside of drumming, I've really been getting into investments, like stock investments. So I've really been kind of going hard on understanding that whole realm. And it's really taught me about patience. It's really taught me about research, analyzing, making sure you're making right decisions. It's taught me ups and downs. So, being an investor not only in stocks, but in cryptocurrency, I've been really doing a lot of research and a lot of dabbling in that. And I really feel like that's given me some skill set that I can kind of take to the artistry world as well.
That's amazing, man. I think that's so dope when we look to kind of create our passion, elevate it, but then we also look to acquire a space to give back and teach others so that they can have that safe haven to
Yeah,
do
for
that.
sure.
That it's so unique to have that community that understands your grind and actually will invest in it, because this is the time to actually use that creativity to fuel the basically the peace and unity that we need to have in the community. So that's awesome that you're doing that as well. Your perspective is unique and innovative, and I think that it can continue to grow, and you're continuing to do amazing things. I'm so excited that you get to actually just live out your passion and get to do so many creative things that people actually admire, and I commend you for that. I definitely wanted to definitely say that I'm a fan of your work. You have a lot of great things that I really appreciate, especially given the creative nature that you have. Do you have any like social media platforms where people can find your work at, or website, or things that people can actually acquire if they want to purchase your music?
Oh, sure. So if you go to my Instagram, it's Trigga Tray Drums, as well as Twitter and TikTok. So Trigga Tray Drums on those three platforms. I have a Facebook page that's like Trigga.Tray. And let's see what else. YouTube channel is also Trigga Tray Drums. So yeah, you can find me on all those platforms. I have some other things I have in the works, different type of businesses and stuff that you'll definitely be hearing from me soon. That's even outside of drumming, things that I'm building up towards. So you'll definitely hear more about that. And yeah, just follow my work and really follow the artists that I've been working with, because I really do it for them. I really, have created this platform specifically to highlight other people, because I feel like it's bigger than me. So if you go on my page and you see someone that you like their flow on that, definitely give them a follow, support their stuff, support their music, all that.
I'm excited for what you're doing, what you have to come, and what you have in store, bro. So keep grinding, stay humble, man, and keep doing your thing.